Let us try and see how we can modify the charges for the tests which are already defined in Ezyreport. We click on the maintenance menu and go to charge master. This charge master will open a form which will show all the tests that are defined on your system arranged in alphabetical format. It contains several things. The first thing to realize is there are two columns on the left hand side, that is mnemonic name and the test name. Mnemonic name is a name that will get displayed in the patient entry screen. It is a short name containing only 20 characters. It helps you to minimize the type of entry during patient entry. It helps you to minimize the number of keys that you will press to select a particular test. Each mnemonic stands for a corresponding test name. For example, ADA will stand for serum ADA levels. For each test we can define several charges. The first charge is the main charge, followed by 9 different charge lists. So in case a laboratory is getting samples from other laboratories and you want to give different labs different rates, then this will help you to assign a particular charge to a particular laboratory. I will shortly explain you how we can do that. We then go ahead and see that we can also define for our use how many days the particular test takes. A very important column here is the profit column, which shows the amount of cutback that you want to reserve for a particular test. You can define any percentage from 0 to 100% for any test. In addition to that, this column Y indicates to us whether this test is commonly requested or not. To minimize the number of tests that are displayed in patient entry, we can select only those tests which are commonly requested. For example, if you are in your lab, you are not getting 24 hours calcium, 20 hours phosphorus, 24 hours uric acid, ACTH, then you can disable these tests. By disabling these tests will get hidden in patient entry menu, as you can see shortly. We minimize this, go to patient registration, and you can see since there is a tick on hide common tests, those tests have got disabled. If you remove this tick, then these tests appeared again. So in this way you can shorten this long list of tests to keep only those tests which are commonly requested. Let us again go back to charge master. The charge master also contains one very important column, that is sample requirement. For every sample we can define a requirement. For example, WBC count, we say that we can collect in random sample and EDTA bulb. So in this way we can define a requirement for every test that we do. For example, LPA, we can say that it requires 12 to 14 hours fasting. Whatever we type here will get reflected again in the patient entry screen. In which case, the moment you click on a particular test, like 24 hours calcium, it will immediately show what are the sampling requirements for that particular test. In this way we can immediately help the operator who is sitting on the computer to tell the patient what is the requirement for each test. For example, anticoag IgG, it will say random sample collect in serum. So this menu will basically help you to decide what are the tests which are commonly requested, and it will also help you to set the charges for different tests. After you have set the charges for the different tests, we can then go back and see how we can set the charges for a particular debtor. Debtors are labs who send samples to you against whom you want to raise a bill. So we go to the debtors menu and we can create labs here, and we can then assign a charge list. So after the 9 charge list, we can assign a particular charge list. We can also print the list of charges by selecting on that particular list and clicking on print charges, in which case only that particular charge list will get printed. So as you can see here, charge list number 2 has got printed, also telling us the number of days required for reporting. This will help the referring lab to know how long you will take to report a particular test. Let us also go and understand how we can define doctors and can maintain data for these doctors in our Ezyreport. This menu contains a grid in which we can enter the doctor's name, the area, the address, the city, so on and so forth. This data also can get printed, and which will help us to print labels in case you want to do any mailing.